Okay, morning everyone. It's the middle of the week now, a few days since my dealership experience at the weekend, so it's just getting time first thing in the morning to post a video about my Hyundai experience. The Nissan one didn't go too well, and there's a few people that commented not really understanding. It's your opinion, your experience as well. Mine wasn't very good. I do expect more from a dealership and more from a car buying experience if you're going to spend that much money. If you're spending £30,000, I expect a decent amount of service and a decent amount of help and understanding to help me buy the car, and buy the right car, not just any old one. Anyway, here's a picture of my current car, just so you can see what I'm comparing to. Yes, whatever I get is going to be more spacious than this, but it's a nice driving car. It's got quite sporty suspension, the seats are sporty, really supportive. It's a nice place to be, it's a nice car to drive. So that's what I'm comparing to. I want a decent car for the money, and I want it to outperform what I've got in all respects. And it ought to, because it's going to cost at least twice the price of what this one was. Anyway, what happened at Hyundai? Went in through the front door, and there was a receptionist to start with a nice welcome. That was a pleasant improvement to start with. Then there were two salesmen. Both were very, very helpful. Both made themselves available to me, but neither of them tried to do a hard sell. Neither of them pushed anything. They were basically chatting, getting to know me, establishing a relationship. Exactly what I would expect if you were really trying to sell a car. They wanted to make me feel happy there and content. They showed me an Ioniq, explained to me it was the hybrid, not the electric, and that was fine. I understand that production stopped for about 8 months, so there are just very few electric cars in the country, especially in the showrooms. The interior, which was the biggest issue, because I can't get out and drive the car, so the interior is a big issue, was surprisingly light and spacious. It is a longer car than all the others I'm considering. I think it's about 30 centimetres longer than a Golf, and I'm not quite sure how much longer than a Leaf it is, but there's more legroom up front, there's a lot more legroom at back, and I'm not normally a fan of grey interiors, but it just works in the Ioniq. It has a much more premium feel than the Leaf. The Leaf felt more plasticky to me. The components didn't look as well manufactured. The Hyundai just looked like a more premium interior, and I certainly felt it. Very, very comfortable. So that was a surprise to me, because I didn't think I'd like grey. If I was ordering leather interior, for example, I'd be ordering sort of beige, tan colour, or black. I wouldn't be ordering grey. But my first impression of the Ioniq interior was very, very good. The boot space was excellent. I don't mind that it's quite flat and quite low to the roofline. The length of it was more important to me, and that was very, very good. The styling, yeah, love it or hate it. It looks like a bit of a rep car, really, doesn't it? You could almost think it was a Mondeo. And there's an interesting thought, you know, maybe the Hyundai is appealing to me more because it's more Ford-like, and I'm more used to Fords. Maybe the Nissan, in its, I don't know, in its build, in its style, in its way they put the interior together, maybe it's less Ford-like. So, you know, maybe I am biased. Maybe what I like maybe what I like is something more familiar. I'm not sure of the reasons. All I know is I was happier in the interior space of the Ioniq, and not the Leaf. The next thing that happened was a little bit odd, because the salesman was explaining to me, because of the lack of production of the EV, that production's due to start again in July. And what he said to me very, very clearly was that when the Ioniq is back in production, it will have the bigger Kona battery, which was what I thought was very, very odd, that they would release information to me that doesn't seem to be out in the general domain yet. So it seemed to be like a really early heads up. So I questioned him and said, you know, is it going to have the choice like the Kona of the 40 or the 60 kilowatt battery? And he said, no, it's just the long range one. They're going to release it, so it's going to be a 300 mile plus. And that seemed really, really exciting to me, because effectively if I'm comfortable in the interior of the car, and I can get used to the outside look of the car, and it's certainly got that range and performance and efficiency, then it just looked like perhaps that's the car for me. Perhaps that's exactly it. So I'm just struggling with the sunlight here. It's early in the morning, catching a quiet moment outside in the garden, and the sun's catching the phone in a few different places. So anyway, I found that really, really exciting news, and he offered me the opportunity to put £500 down as a deposit on the car for a July build, or July starting build. Obviously delivery would probably come later in the year. And I asked, you know, is that on the existing car or the new one? He says, no, that will be the new one with the new battery. He didn't offer any details about what else might change, colours or spec of the car, or visually if anything was changing. So he said he couldn't confirm that, and that was where I left it. The one thing I did do in the showroom was compare the Ioniq to the Kona. The Kona, it's just beautiful. I really don't normally like SUVs or crossovers, especially where they clad them with grey bumpers. I don't normally find that attractive at all, but the Kona is a really attractive car. It's sort of Golf size in length. It's not quite as long as an Ioniq. It's about 30 centimetres. Is it 30 centimetres taller than the Golf? I can't quite remember exactly, but it's definitely taller. It's got some real presence. It's a big chunky car, and was really, really appealing. Getting inside, it was like the TARDIS, but the opposite way round. It was small again. Now the interior was black, so maybe that was part of it. But I adjusted the driver's seat to suit me in my driving style, and then put it forward one more notch, presuming I wouldn't use quite as much legroom with an EV because I don't use the clutch. And I'm 5'10", and then I got in the back, and basically I'm a short leg length as well. You know, I'm not a tall person, I don't have long legs, but my legs were rubbing against the back of the seat. I could not sit straight without sitting upright like a soldier, without my knees really pushing into the back of the seat. So I had to splay my legs either side of the seat. And that just seems a little odd, in that I saw a review just the other day of a guy in America testing it, and he was 5'10", and said it was spacious front and back. So interior space in the back in the Kona seemed to be a bit of an issue. Comfortable in the front, a little bit more closed in though, especially where the big infotainment screen is. That seems to be like a dividing line, so it creates an instrument cockpit for the driver, and then tangibly very, very different to the passenger. I'd love to drive that car, the Kona. I'm probably going to ask for a test drive in that, to see how that feels and whether I could get used to it, because I love the outside of the Kona. And if I can get used to the interior and it's coming out in electric, that really could be the car for me. The Ioniq I thought was exceptionally good, but it's just that Repmobile look. I'm not sure if that's for me. Anyway, going on to test drives. So, I explained a little bit about the bad experience I'd had at Nissan, and the Hyundai dealer said, oh, no, we don't have any of that. We'd never let it out for half an hour. You'd have it for half a day, or 24-hour test drive. That's what we'd do. It's a big change, going from petrol to electric, so of course that's what we'd expect. And basically nothing was too much trouble, so anything I wanted I could have. If they wanted the salesman in the car explaining the spec or going through the brochure, they would do it, and not once did they say anything negative about, well, that's how it is, like it or lump it, take it or leave it. And those sort of words you should never hear from a dealer, and therefore, you know, that's why I was upset at the Nissan dealership, that it was his attitude that basically that's how it is, take it or leave it, and they were his exact words, take it or leave it. So Hyundai, completely different, offer you much more of a test drive, and yeah, nothing available though, so I'm still in the same situation that I'm not ready to buy a car now, obviously because the car that I want isn't available. I don't want the Leaf now, not unless Nissan UK play an absolute blinder and let me test a car for quite a while and I fall in love with it while I'm driving it, which I don't think is going to happen. So that leaves me with the Hyundai, the Volkswagen, or the Hyundai Kona. So that's where we're at the moment. Next stage for me is to go back to Hyundai and organise those test drives. I can only get the Kona petrol because electric doesn't exist, but at least I'll get used to the interior. So that's my first plan. Secondly, I'm trying to contact Hyundai UK to get a test drive somewhere, in that if they want me to place a production order, which is a possibility. I might put the £500 down. I was told that on the terms of that deposit, if I don't like what I'm ordering at any point when they release the information about the actual car, then I can have the £500 back. So yeah, I might well place a pre-production order on either an Ioniq or the Kona. So that's where we are. I'm going to progress test drives next, and yes, go to a Volkswagen dealer as well. Lastly though, here's a little bit more information that in the last few days, while I've been waiting to post this, I was in conversation with Hyundai UK, saying that it felt a little odd that the dealer was offering to take a deposit on a car that they didn't know exactly what it was, and they were telling me it had a long-range battery, when there's no information out saying that that's going to happen. And they said the production build in July will be of the Ioniqs with the same battery. So I'm not sure what I was told by the dealer and what I thought was some sort of confidential information or some news breaking story perhaps isn't. But here's the odd thing: although they said that it will be with the same battery, they kept using terms as in, we cannot confirm that there will be any changes. They cannot confirm whether the styling will have changed or whether the battery will change this summer. And the wording they used in the communications to me at no time said the Ioniq will not have a bigger battery this year. It definitely will not. They did not say that, but they didn't say it definitely would. They seemed to leave it hanging, almost as if they were trying to build a media story, if they're trying to build some intrigue. And from the conversation with Hyundai UK, I'm left perplexed, really, that the dealer said it's going to have a long-range option, and that's his belief. So either the dealers know nothing, and they're just going on the hype as well and what they believe personally, or Hyundai UK, just in their wording, don't like to be absolute specific, because perhaps the UK branch of them don't know. Perhaps the car's going to be launched at some time and they really don't know the details. Anyway, so just wanted to let you know that what I thought was a breaking news story perhaps isn't. Perhaps what was happening was that the dealership want production orders of an Ioniq regardless of what it is, because they sold out so quickly and there weren't enough available. So perhaps they're trying to get enough production orders in to get enough cars coming to their dealership, and they don't mind giving the deposits back, because at least they'll have more cars in the showroom and more to sell, which is perhaps what they're after. So maybe that's what's going on. Maybe they were upselling the Ioniq, and potentially what's happening on the basis that if they weren't right, and they might know already that they're not right, then they'll get the cars delivered to their dealership. Maybe not for me, but they'll have more to sell, and maybe that's what they're looking for. So an odd set of circumstances, an odd set of communications from both the dealer and Hyundai UK, but I'm left still not knowing 100% what's coming this summer, because Hyundai UK just wouldn't deny that something is happening. I'll keep trying to find an Ioniq to test drive. You know, maybe I have to find a second-hand one. Anyway, that's where we are. I hope you've enjoyed my update. It is my opinion. It's not factual in any way. I really didn't mean to diss the Nissan Leaf too much, because it was mostly a bad dealership experience that put me off. But the interior to me did feel very different to what I was expecting for a £30,000 car. But when you're getting into spending £30,000, you've got a lot of options, and if it's going to be a new car, you've got to expect a lot. My little Fiesta was only £13,500, So it's got to be at least twice the car, and that's my opinion. If it's not, then perhaps it's not worth it. Perhaps there's too much of a premium for electric cars at the moment, and that's what I've got to find. The Leaf didn't seem the right sort of value for me at first impression. The Ioniq, yeah, with the right size battery, it did have that premium feel inside. I probably would have placed the order if the car that I want is available. And I love the look of the Kona. Anyway, so I've rattled on a bit too much here, so I'll leave it for now, and thanks for watching. If you like, please subscribe, and come back for some more. Hopefully the next one that I'll have will be an actual test drive of something, or perhaps it'll be the Volkswagen, as soon as I get time to actually get out and look at it. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.